Hi everyone, today we're going to be creating a Wayne T. Bold inspired ice cream sundae. So in the previous video you learned that Wayne T. Bold was an artist who created lots of sweets. He painted cakes and ice cream sundaes and cupcakes, and so we're going to use that inspiration of what he did to kind of recreate it in our own way as we utilize the elements of art, including line and shape and color, to create something that is aesthetically pleasing or enticing to the viewer. And the way that you do that is you utilize color to emphasize shapes of ice cream and recognizable objects that help to strike memories in people as they look at your picture, and by remembering and recognizing things that taste good, it brings back some kind of nostalgia, and it automatically makes people feel good about your drawing. It's a technique that artists use. It's as a recall kind of thing to keep the person who's looking at your artwork interested in whatever you're drawing. Who doesn't want to see a picture of an ice cream sundae? Of course you do. They all taste so delicious. So let's get to work, okay? So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to be, the supplies that you're going to need are, you're going to need a pencil, and you're going to add color with an option. You can either use some colored pencils, you can use markers, or you can use paint. I have all three here, but today I think I might just use a mixture of all of them, okay? I might use crayons and colored pencils and paint just so that you can kind of see a little bit of everything, okay? Now I will be drawing in Sharpie marker just so that you can see it better in the video. For you though, I would suggest you use pencil first so that in case you mess up, you'll be able to erase and everything will be perfect on your paper, okay? All right, so to start off with, we're holding our paper, we're positioning our paper in the vertical position, which is straight up and down so that we have lots of room, okay? And then we're starting not quite in the middle, but a little bit up towards the upper part of the middle. So if this was the middle, we're gonna go up just about an inch, okay? And right between this space, about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches from each side, we're gonna make a horizontal line that goes across like this, okay? And now don't worry about all the details. If it's perfectly straight, don't worry about that. It'll be fine, because really what people are looking at is your drawing of and the ice cream, not so much your details in your drawing as far as whether a line is perfectly straight or not. So don't worry about that. Just take your time and relax into it. Okay, so now I'm going to make about 1/2 inch line on this side, and whatever I do on this side, I'm going to make it symmetrical on the other side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this line across, but it isn't going to be perfectly straight. It's just going to be curved just a tad bit, like that. Not too much, okay? Now, an ice cream sundae cup is typically a tall one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this side down in a little bit. And then I'm going to bring this side in a little bit. Almost to a V, you guys, but not quite, because it's going to stop at the bottom and there's still space here. And then I'm just going to make this line curve across. Okay, so now it looks like we have sort of a tall vase. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line around the bottom here for this stand. But notice I'm not starting at the bottom corner here. I'm going to go up just a bit and then just kind of bring it around like a stretched out oval or an ellipse. And I'm going to meet it back on the other side. Okay, so now we have our tall ice cream cup. What we do want to do is put a couple of details in it. So I'm going to put one line that echoes this line right here on the left, and one line that kind of echoes this line on the right, and then maybe one line in the middle. So I'm just going to bring one line down here like this, and then another line down, and then one in the middle. And you're going to see how when we go to add color to this, it's going to look like it's angled, okay? Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to add some whipped cream. We have to build our sundae from the front to the back. So if you want whipped cream, you don't want to put your ice cream cone down, your ice cream scoop down first. You want to do the whipped cream first to make it look like it's in the top or in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a series of curved lines that go over like what you see me kind of mapping out, just to make it look nice and fluffy and delicious. So I'm just going to curve it over, maybe some small ones, and mix it up, and then have that curve right there. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is, remember when I talked to you about building it up? If you want to add a little bit more back here, you can, but I first want to add a straw in here. In case that ice cream melts, I want to make sure that the straw actually looks like it's inside of the cup. So of course it's going to be behind the whipped cream. So what I'm going to do over on this side is I'm going to make a line that goes up, and then you can curve it down if you want. And then at the very end here, we're going to make an oval to show the inside of the straw as well. And then I'm going to just follow that same line back up, and then I'm just going to bring it down. Okay, and we know that these kinds of straws have those little curves on them where you bend, the bendy straw, my favorite kind of straws. And then also on this kind of straw, it normally is patterned with striped lines. So I'm just going to make these striped lines, and when I go to color it in, it's going to be like red and white, red, white, red, white, and so forth, a pattern of colors. Okay, now to really make that straw look like it's inside, I'm just going to add a little bit more whipped cream behind that. Okay, so now it looks like it's inside. Now what I'm going to do, I could add a little bit more over here. And now I get a chance to really go into my ice cream cone. So I'm probably going to make 2 scoops. So I'm going to make the first one coming from this corner, and I'm just going to curve it over. Emphasizing that curve, so you want to make sure, almost as if you were to take a pencil and you were to go all the way around, but the bottom part would be cut off. And if you want to do that, if you find that you're having trouble with this curve, you can just kind of make a light sketchy circle, and then at the very end you can just erase the bottom part and keep the top. Okay, now on here we want to add a little bit of whipped cream on here as well. So, or how about we just add some chocolate sauce? So we're just going to add some chocolate sauce by just making a wavy line go up and down. Okay, and then you can add whatever you want to this, or you can leave it like this. You can put some sprinkles on the ice cream. And if you want to put a little bit more whipped cream back here, you can have some whipped cream right there. And then you can have a second scoop back here. Okay, and this can even have a cherry on top with a stem. Just at the very top of the stem, you want to make a little line coming out. All right, you can put more whipped cream back here to really kind of fill it in with whipped cream. Okay, wow, isn't that looking delicious? And if you want to put a little bit more chocolate sauce on this one back here, you can. So now we have this yummy looking dessert, and now we get to color it in. So what you're going to do is you can start to color things in with color pencil, or you can just leave it with crayon. I'm going to color a couple things in with a marker, and when I go to do this, I'm leaving a little highlight on my cherry there. I made like sort of like a half moon because I want that to look shiny. And then I'm going to take marker and I'm going to color in my chocolate sauce. And for you, what I would encourage you to do is, if you have a black crayon or you have a black color pencil or a black marker, trace your ice cream sundae with that black color pencil or crayon or marker first, because what it'll do is it'll help keep everything nice and neat and inside the lines where you want them to stay. When you are coloring something, especially that something, the intention is for you to excite the person and get them all excited about what you've made, you definitely want to keep everything nice and neat. Now I'm using blue for the stripes on my straw, and I am using marker, but when I go back into this, what I'm probably going to do is for my whipped cream, I probably am going to use a little bit of light blue or pink to kind of show you what that looks like. So I have light blue and I also have pink right here. Let me sharpen this one real quick. Okay. And then I also have pink. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you what it looks like when I just want to go inside of the edge of this ice cream, or the whipped cream rather, just to kind of emphasize the shape of it. So you're not coloring the whole thing in. What you're doing is you're kind of just shading on the inside edge of this to give it some color so that it looks more three-dimensional, because the intention again is we want to make it look as yummy and inviting as possible. So to do that, we're definitely going to have to add a little bit of color. We know that whipped cream is white, but we still want to add a little bit of color on the inside. Now, this is what it looks like with light blue. Let me show you what it looks like with pink. Okay, maybe you have different flavors of whipped cream. Maybe this one is strawberry or bubblegum flavor whipped cream. And maybe this one was like blue raspberry or something like that. But you can kind of mix it up. You can also add purple to it and you can make it like a different flavor. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the pink and with the blue. And again, I'm just coloring on the inside edge of this whipped cream just to give it some dimension, some shape. And then if you want me to, what I can do is let me show you what it looks like if I add a little bit of pink inside right here where the blue is. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look fantastic? That looks even better. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit of pink and I'm just kind of coloring a little bit into the whipped cream, and I'm going to take that. I like that so much, I'm going to go back in with the blue over here and do the same thing. Do you know what happens when you mix a little bit of pink and light blue together? Do you know what color you get? If someone said out there, if someone said purple or lavender, that is indeed what you get. You get a little bit of, if you add red and blue together, you get purple. So if you're going to add pink and light blue together, you're going to get a little bit of lavender. Okay, and now at this point, you can color your ice cream whatever color you want. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to make it mint chocolate chip or lime. I can color it with this light green. And since I'm coloring with color pencil and I already colored this with marker, I can go right in here and color right on top of the marker because it's okay, it's not going to show. And that's the beauty of being able to use different kinds of media or supplies. You would call it supplies or media. You can use different things that will make it look more realistic. So now here is I was telling you earlier about my chocolate sauce and how I might add black to it. So I might add just a little bit of black to this in certain areas, probably on the edge here, really just to make it stand out and make it look even more realistic. And I can even add black specks in here to make this look like, do you know what kind of ice cream this is? This is mint chocolate chip ice cream when you add those specks in there. And then I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to add my chocolate sauce in here. There we go. This is looking so very delicious. Let me color that in. I like that better. Okay, and then what color should I make my ice cream back here? Maybe I could make it vanilla by adding a little bit of yellow. I'll use a yellow color pencil to see what I get. So think about your flavors that you want to kind of put in here too, because the flavors determine what colors you're going to be using, okay? And that's important as well. Down here, I have a little spot that I didn't get. And then at the very bottom here on my ice cream sundae cup, now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of dimension over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what this looks like if I were to add blue watercolor. You can use marker, you can use whatever you want. But all I'm simply doing is just taking this cup, taking this paint rather, and I'm just going to basically draw it on top of the lines. And I'm doing that basically like just drawing right on top. right on top of the lines, because I don't really need to color it in, because essentially the glass is it's glass, so it's see-through. So to make it look more realistic, all I have to do is just add a little bit of color there. Okay, I don't need to do too much. Okay, and you can even go back in if you want to add another color to that. Maybe I wanted to add pink to emphasize this. I can add pink to it. If it's too much, it's okay. Just go back in, draw that out, and you can put that in there as well. And now all of a sudden, now I have this beautiful ice cream cone. Now what I'm going to do at the very bottom is I'm just going to take my crayon and I'm going to add a little bit of black on here to kind of fill in these lines, give it a little bit of shadow around the edge here. And I'm even going to add a little bit of shadow at the bottom here. And this, what this does is this just makes it look a little bit fuller. A little bit fuller. And all I'm doing is shading right on the lines, guys. Okay, and you can add a little bit of fullness to all of this as well. Just a little shadow around the edge always makes it look really nice, inviting. And if you feel like this is too washed out, like this is not bright enough, by all means, go ahead and add some more color to it. You can add as many scoops as you want, but the idea is that you want to make it look so yummy that people just want to eat up your sundae. Does it look like that? Do you want to eat my sundae? Okay, emphasize the curve. Now we're talking. A little bit more color, and I actually might add a little bit of yellow in here just to give it a little bit of pop of color to pop that out. So let me add a little bit of yellow in here. You see, not too much. We don't need a whole lot. And that's just bringing all of these colors together. You can add some in there. You can even add some in here. Okay, and there we have it. There we have our Wayne Thiebaud inspired ice cream sundae. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and remember that you don't have to use all of the supplies I use. You can use whatever you want, but this right here, this is the one. This is what's going to make it look really, really nice and neat and bring out all of the contrast of those colors of whatever you're doing. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I can't wait to see your work. Thank you, everyone.